My name is Emma Palmer. I'm 35 years old, and until last Tuesday, I thought I was marrying a good man. I got engaged to Nathan Clark, 32, last year after nearly 3 years together. The proposal was quiet, intentional. Just the two of us on a coastal overlook. No crowd, no spectacle. That should have been my first clue. I liked calm. Nathan liked applause. The first year was easy. The second was comfortable. The third felt structured, like we were following a template instead of listening to each other. Still, I said yes. My older sister Rachel, 38, cried when I told her. Not dramatic sobbing, just that tight, silent kind that comes from relief. Rachel is my only family. Our parents died in a car accident when I was 22. She became my anchor through grad school, career changes, panic attacks, everything. Rachel is honest, sometimes painfully so, but she's never wrong about people. Nathan never liked that. The wedding was set for next month. 250 guests. His parents insisted. If we're doing this, his mother said, we're doing it properly. I was paying for most of it, about $45,000 so far. The venue alone, $15,000, already paid. Nathan handled details with a strange mix of detachment and control. He didn't care about flowers, didn't care about music. But the moment Rachel questioned anything, cost, scale, necessity, his jaw tightened. She makes things tense, he said once, offhandedly. Rachel only asked 3 questions. Did we really need gold-plated chargers? Was a 7-course rehearsal dinner excessive? Why was a chocolate sculpture costing $3,000? All reasonable. Last Tuesday, Nathan sat me down at the kitchen island. Calm voice, folded hands. That tone he used when he thought he was being mature. We need to talk about Rachel. My stomach dropped. What about her? She's been difficult. She's offered opinions. That's not being difficult. It's not her wedding, Emma. I know. She makes me uncomfortable. I blinked. How? That look she gives me, like she's waiting for me to mess up. Rachel had never said a word to him directly. Ever. I stared at the marble countertop while my brain rearranged itself. Nathan, I said slowly. She's my only family. I know, and I respect that. But this day is about us, about me feeling safe. Safe. She's supposed to walk me down the aisle, I said. You know that. She doesn't have to be there to support you. She can watch the live stream. I laughed. I honestly thought it was a joke. You're serious? Yes. I've decided she's not invited. I waited for the punchline. This is my wedding, he said. My choice. I looked up then, really looked at him, the man I planned to marry. The man who thought he could remove my sister like an inconvenient centerpiece. Something in me went very still. You're right, I said. His shoulders relaxed instantly. Thank you. I knew you'd understand. Your wedding, I said evenly. Your rules. He smiled. Our wedding. No, I said. Apparently it's yours. His smile flickered. And since it's your wedding, I continued, standing, you don't need me there either. What? I'm uninviting myself. Emma, don't be dramatic. I walked past him, straight to the bedroom, opened the safe, took out the ring box, my grandmother's ring, and the receipt beneath it. What are you doing? He demanded, following me, taking back my ring. You're being ridiculous. It's just one person. The one person who raised me, I said quietly. The one person who made me someone worth marrying. He scoffed. Fine, she can come. God. I didn't know you'd throw a tantrum. I closed the ring box. No, I said. Too late. He started yelling, then crying, then yelling again. I packed one bag. His mother called within an hour, then his father, then his sister. I didn't answer. I drove straight to Rachel's apartment. She opened the door, took one look at my face, and pulled me into her arms. Do you want to tell me? She asked softly. Or do you want tea first? I told her everything. She listened, didn't interrupt, just nodded. That chocolate fountain was the first red flag, she said finally. $2,500 for melted sugar is a personality test. I exhaled for the first time all day. I need a vacation, I muttered. Rachel's eyes lit up. Funny you say that. Remember that cruise I booked for next month? The one your friend canceled? Want to be my +1? The cruise was the same week as the wedding. Perfect. 3 days later, Nathan's text escalated. Can we talk like adults? You're overreacting. I can't sleep. You've ruined everything. If you don't come back, I'm keeping the deposits, I replied once. Per our discussion, it's your wedding. Handle it however you want. That's when his father called. Emma, Richard said carefully, what's going on? I didn't abandon anyone, I replied. Your son uninvited my sister. I uninvited myself. Long pause. How much have you paid for this wedding? About $45,000. Silence. He told us you were contributing a little. I smiled without humor. I have receipts. I need to call you back. My phone rang again minutes later. Nathan was screaming. You turned my father against me. I told him the truth. We had an arrangement. What arrangement? You pay. They don't need to know. I hung up. The mask was off now, and it was only the beginning. By Thursday morning, the tone of Nathan's messages had shifted again. Not pleading, not angry. Strategic. You're being unreasonable. My parents are confused. We need to settle this like adults. That phrase, like adults, always meant on his terms. I was at Rachel's kitchen table, laptop open, contracts spread out in neat digital folders. Venue, catering, photographer, florist. All in my name, all paid from my accounts. Rachel leaned over my shoulder. He's going to try to scare you with money. I know. Right on cue, Nathan called. I spoke to my parents, he said, voice tight. They're upset. About you canceling everything. I haven't canceled anything, I said calmly. I've paused. Big difference. You can't just do that. The deposits are mine, I finished. Because I paid them. He exhaled sharply. This is financial abuse, Emma. I almost laughed. You uninvited my only family from a wedding I funded, I said. That's not abuse, that's entitlement. You're punishing me. No, I'm protecting myself. Silence. Then the pivot. Look, he said, softer now. I overreacted. Rachel can come. She can even be in the wedding party if that helps. There is no wedding, I replied. You don't mean that. I do. He hung up. An hour later, his mother called. Emma, Patricia said, voice strained but polite. We need to talk about the financial situation. There isn't one, I said. Nathan misrepresented who was paying. She paused. He said you insisted. I insisted on transparency. She sighed. This is a lot. It's the truth. That afternoon, I began formally canceling vendors. Most were surprisingly kind when I explained. One coordinator even said, honestly, you dodged something. We see these situations spiral after the wedding, not before. Refunds started processing, minus cancellation fees. Then came the email. A formal demand from Nathan's lawyer, $75,000 for emotional distress and lost deposits. Rachel read it once, then again. He wants you to pay him, she said slowly, for dumping him. I forwarded it to my lawyer friend, I said. He laughed for 5 minutes straight. Nathan didn't know I'd already gotten legal advice. He also didn't know how badly he was about to miscalculate public perception. 2 days later, he went to social media. According to his posts, I was controlling, cold, manipulative, a woman who used money to isolate him from his support system. He claimed I canceled the wedding because he stood up to my toxic sister. The comments exploded. His friends rallied. Mutuals hesitated. People who knew Rachel were confused. Then he made a mistake. He posted, after everything I sacrificed, Emma refuses to even cover the deposits for the wedding she insisted on. Rachel commented, the wedding with the $3,000 chocolate sculpture? The one where you uninvited her only family? That wedding? He deleted it within minutes. Too late. Screenshots spread. His father called again that night. This isn't what we were told, Richard said, sounding exhausted. Nathan said you were struggling financially. I closed my eyes. I've never told him that. He said you were proud, that your career wasn't as stable as it looked. I laughed softly. I own my condo outright. Long silence. I'm sorry, Richard said finally. We didn't know. I believe you, I replied. The next call was from Nathan, screaming, accusing me of turning his parents against him, of ruining his reputation, of being vindictive. You lied, I said. That's on you. The deposits are mine, he shouted. You ruined everything. The contracts are in my name. That's financial abuse. It's called asset protection, I said, something Rachel suggested. He hung up. That night, another email arrived, this time angrier. Threats, legal jargon misused, grandiose claims. Rachel poured wine and raised her glass. To extinction bursts. What? When entitled people lose control, she said, they get louder before they collapse. The next week proved her right. Nathan sent his brother to talk sense into me. I recorded the conversation. My lawyer sent a cease and desist the next day. Fake accounts started messaging me. Karma, loneliness, threats disguised as concern. I screenshotted everything. Then HR called. A welfare check. Someone had reported I was emotionally unstable and a danger to myself. I met Thursday evening. Security called from my office lobby. Nathan Clark is here. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet him. He looked different. Unwashed hair, no confidence, eyes darting. Emma, he said, grabbing my arm. Please. There is nothing to fix, I replied. I didn't mean what I said online. You demanded money. I was angry. The venue refunded me, I said. Minus fees. His face drained of color. You got the money? Yes. That was our money. There was no our, I said quietly. Security approached. Nathan started yelling. I'll sue you. Breach of promise. Contract void due to your breach of good faith, I said smoothly. My lawyer prepared me for that line. His mouth opened, closed. Security escorted him out while he shouted about love and destiny. That night, Rachel booked our cruise excursions. The wedding week was coming, and Nathan had no idea what was about to happen. 2 weeks after I walked out, Nathan entered what my lawyer later called the extinction phase. I called it obsession. It started small. Missed calls from unknown numbers, voicemails that cut off before the message ended, then emails that pretended to be neutral. Just checking in. We should get closure. This doesn't have to end like this. I didn't respond. Silence is gasoline to people like Nathan. The next move was intimidation. He showed up outside my building one evening, pacing near the entrance like he was waiting for a chance encounter. Building security recognized him from the harassment report and escorted him off the property. He texted me 10 minutes later from a new number. I just wanted to talk. I forwarded it to my lawyer. Then came the drunk night. Sunday, 2:07 a.m. My phone buzzed. Building security again. Emma, your ex-fiancé is downstairs. He's intoxicated. He brought a friend. I checked the security camera feed. Nathan stood in the lobby wearing the same wrinkled blazer he'd worn to our engagement dinner. Beside him was his friend Ashley, tipsy, giggling, filming on her phone. Open up, Nathan slurred into the camera. We need closure. Ashley laughed. This is so romantic, like a movie. Security called the police. When officers arrived, Nathan claimed he lived there. They asked for ID. Address didn't match. Then he claimed we were basically married, so it was his home too. The officers were unimpressed. At 3 a.m., I got a call from the station. I sighed. Has he learned his lesson? No. Then yet, Nathan spent the night in holding. Richard called me the next morning. Was that necessary? He asked quietly. Was showing up drunk at 2 a.m. necessary? I replied. This is the 4th incident. I emailed him everything. Screenshots, HR reports, cease and desist letters. Long pause. I had no idea, he said. She needs help. I agree. That Thursday, the restraining order was approved. 500 feet. Workplace. Residence. No contact. Rachel framed it. It's a reminder, she said, hanging it in her bathroom. Trust your instincts. 3 days later, we boarded the cruise. The same week the wedding was supposed to happen. I turned off my phone and locked it in the cabin safe. The first 2 days were perfect. Sunburns, pool volleyball, unlimited shrimp cocktail. Rachel won a trivia contest and paraded around with her plastic trophy like she'd conquered Rome. On day 3, Rachel forgot to silence her phone. It exploded. She stared at the screen, then looked up at me slowly. "You need to see this." Nathan had gone ahead with the wedding, without a groom, without a venue, without catering. He showed up at his parents' house in a rented tux, told guests I was running late, and insisted everyone wait. Someone live-streamed it. I watched from the ship's bar, Nathan pacing, his mother trying to calm guests, Richard on the phone with the venue, confirming it had been canceled weeks ago. Then the moment it all cracked. Someone asked where I was. Nathan admitted, on camera, that he'd uninvited my sister, that I had left him. An uncle asked, "So she paid for everything and you cut her family out?" Nathan threw the bouquet at him. The live stream went semi-viral. Someone added commentary like a sports broadcast. "Bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off." The bartender watched with us, shaking his head. "That man dodged a torpedo," he said, comping our drinks. Ashley commented during the stream, "Yes, he really thought she'd show up." We waited 2 hours. Someone replied, "Girl, she's literally on a boat." I checked my email once that week. 17 messages from Nathan's family. One from Richard. "I'm appalled. He's in therapy or he's cut off financially. Your lawyer has my contact. Enjoy your vacation." 2 months later, life was quiet. Then Nathan tried one last move. He claimed he was pregnant, demanded I do the right thing. I requested a paternity test through my lawyer. He backpedaled immediately, said it was a misunderstanding, a false positive. There was no test. Richard apologized again, told me Nathan was now in intensive therapy, access to money revoked, living at home, working at one of Richard's stores. The final twist came from a cousin, Brad. Turns out Nathan had been DMing him during our engagement, suggesting they get closer for family unity. Brad thought it was inappropriate. Didn't tell me because he didn't want drama. I laughed for a full minute. The bullets I dodged could have filled an armory. On the cruise's last night, Rachel leaned on the railing beside me. "You okay?" she asked. I smiled at the water. Better than okay. The wedding never happened, but the truth did. The quiet after chaos feels unreal at first. For weeks after the cruise, I kept waiting for something else to break. Another accusation, another stunt, another email written at 1 a.m. with too many exclamation points and no accountability. Trauma trains you to stay alert even when the danger has passed, but nothing came. The restraining order held. 500 feet of enforced reality. Nathan was legally required to stay away from my home, my workplace, my sister, and any place he knew I regularly frequented. Any violation meant arrest. That boundary, finally written in ink instead of hope, changed everything. Rachel noticed it before I did. "You're sleeping again," she said one morning over coffee. Like actual sleep, no flinching. She was right. My phone stopped buzzing with unknown numbers. HR confirmed Nathan's attempts to contact my workplace were documented and blocked. My lawyer kept a quiet file, screenshots, timestamps, incident logs, just in case. Most people like him, my lawyer told me, eventually get tired when attention stops paying dividends. Nathan didn't disappear completely. People like him never do. 3 weeks after the cruise, he tried one last narrative reset. He told mutual friends he was the one who got away from me, that he'd learned so much, that losing me had forced him to grow. I didn't correct the story. Growth doesn't announce itself. Then came the pregnancy claim. A text from a new number. "We need to talk. I'm pregnant." I didn't reply. I forwarded it to my lawyer and requested a paternity test through proper legal channels. The response came less than an hour later. I misunderstood the results. False positive. I was emotional. There were no results. There had never been a test. Richard called that evening, voice heavy with shame. "I'm sorry," he said. Again. He's in intensive therapy now. The therapist mentioned delusional entitlement, narcissistic traits. I closed my eyes, not in anger, in relief. He's cut off financially, Richard continued. Living at home, working full shifts, no exceptions. That's probably good for him, I said honestly. There was a pause. He told us you were poor, Richard added quietly. That's why he needed to pay, that your career was unstable. I let out a short breath. I own my condo, outright. I know, he said. I know that now. When we hung up, I didn't feel victorious. I felt free. The money from the canceled wedding sat untouched for weeks. I didn't want to rush decisions fueled by anger. Eventually, I invested most of it. Slow, boring, smart. The rest went to Rachel's student loans. She cried when I told her. You didn't have to, she said. I know, I replied. You didn't have to raise me either. She hugged me so hard my ribs protested. The ring, my grandmother's ring, never went back into a drawer. I had the stone reset and gave it to Rachel. Grandma would have wanted you to have it, I said. She actually knew you. Rachel stared at it for a long time before nodding. I'll wear it when I need courage. Life settled. I took a solo trip to Iceland with part of the refunded money. Watched the northern lights crack open the sky like a promise. Sat in geothermal pools with strangers who didn't know my past and didn't need to. I met a fellow traveler named Jonah. He'd just ended a brutal relationship too. We shared bad ex stories, good whiskey, and silence. Nothing romantic, just two people recovering their sense of self. Rachel met someone as well, one of the men from the cruise. Divorced, kind, makes her laugh without asking her to shrink. They're taking it slow. It's the happiest I've seen her in years. Nathan still texts occasionally from random numbers. I miss us. You were my person. No one understands me like you did. I don't respond. I screenshot. I forward to my lawyer. I live my life. Last week, a mutual acquaintance told me Nathan now tells people I was too strong for him, that I intimidated him, that I wouldn't let him lead. I smiled. Strong women don't intimidate good men. They expose bad ones. The venue refunded most of my money. The coordinator later told me they now have a clause in their contracts. Both parties must approve the guest list to prevent family exclusion drama. They call it the Palmer Clause. The chocolate sculpture company sent me a small chocolate sailboat with a handwritten note. Smooth sailing ahead. Rachel framed it next to the restraining order. It's art, she said. Sometimes I think about how close I came to marrying Nathan, about how easily this could have happened after vows, after shared property, after children. The wedding that never happened saved my life. Nathan showed me exactly who he was before the law had to untangle us permanently. And I believed him. I have my sister, my savings, my peace, and a lifetime supply of stories about the wedding I never attended. Sometimes the happiest ending isn't walking down the aisle. It's walking away.